Have you ever thought about why some folks hustle their whole lives and still don't make it big, while others seem to have money working in their favor? Most people grow up learning to hit the books, grind hard, and collect a paycheck. They end up swapping time for cash and use that cash to buy stuff that gives them a quick boost, but doesn't really give them any real freedom. I used to be in that same boat. Whenever payday rolled around, I felt like I hit the jackpot. But then it hit me. Money is just a momentary thing. Freedom lasts forever. And you can't purchase freedom with just a paycheck. You have to create it through assets. The wealthy get this. Income keeps you afloat, but assets give you wings. They don't merely chase after money. They aim to plant seeds. Every dollar that comes their way, they let a slice of it blossom into a money tree. Something that keeps working for them even when they're catching some Z's. They understand that if you don't train your money to work for you, you'll always be grinding for money. And today, I'm excited to share with you 12 essential principles that the wealthy swear by. These ideas don't stem from chance. They arise from your mindset, discipline, and a solid financial philosophy. They can totally transform your perspective on money, work, and freedom. You'll want to stick around until the end of this video because the 9th principle, the law of keeping money, could change the way you accumulate wealth forever. The first principle is simple. Don't just focus on making money, invest it. Back in my younger days, I believed that the goal of working was to rake in as much cash as I could. I put in long hours, harder than anyone else I knew. But even as my earnings grew, I felt like I was stuck on a never-ending hamster wheel. I was making more, but I was also spending more. That's when it hit me. I was working just to get by, not to truly be free. One day, a mentor of mine said, "Your job will keep you fed, but your assets will set you free." That one line completely shifted my perspective on money. I came to understand that the issue wasn't how much I earned, but rather how I managed the money I had. Most folks spend their entire lives chasing after money. Wealthy individuals dedicate their lives to making their money work for them. That's the key distinction. It's the divide between merely surviving and truly enjoying freedom. Picture yourself as a farmer. Every month you get a sack of seeds. That's your salary. You face two options. You can consume them all since they're enough to get by today, or you can save some to plant for a bigger harvest next season. Wealthy people think like farmers. They take just enough to sustain themselves, but they always set aside the rest for planting. They realize that if you use up all your seeds this season, you won't have anything to reap next season. I once encountered a guy who was quite wealthy. He drove fancy cars, sported high-end fashion, and resided in a posh apartment. But when I asked him if he could live for a year without working, he fell silent because the answer was no. He had a high income but lacked real assets. The wealthy don't focus on how much they earn. They concentrate on what they create. Someone making $100 a month but putting $200 into assets can become principle number 1. Don't just earn, invest free sooner than someone making $1,000 and spending it all, because it's discipline, not figures, that brings freedom. Don't hold off on investing until you're earning more. If you can't save 10% when you're making $100, you won't be able to when you're making $1,000 either. Investing isn't just for wealthy folks. It's how people build wealth. And investing isn't confined to stocks or real estate. It could be a book you pick up to expand your mindset, a course to sharpen your skills, or a venture you're brave enough to start. Anything that helps you create and grow value is a solid investment. Ask yourself, am I working for money or am I teaching money to work for me? If your answer is, I'm still working for money, then it's time to shift your mindset. Because if you don't make money your servant, it will turn you into its worker for life. And here's the reality. Money never takes a break. It can operate 24 hours a day all over the globe. but only if you use it wisely. Let every dollar you make have a purpose to grow, to help, to liberate you from the constraints of time. Keep this in mind: income sustains you, but assets work for you. Don't just hustle for cash. Figure out how to make your money work for you. And to achieve that, you need to develop one key habit, a habit that wealthy individuals never overlook, regardless of where they are in life. It's the habit of planting seeds every single day. Principle number 2, cultivate the habit of sowing seeds daily. I used to tell my students that it's not the amount of money you possess that defines your wealth, but the habits you practice consistently, because wealth isn't a one-time event, it's a journey. And that journey begins with a small action, a seemingly trivial choice, a seed you plant today. You see, both the wealthy and the less fortunate have seeds. The distinction lies in how they handle them. The less fortunate consume their seeds to get by today. The wealthy plant their seeds to enjoy freedom tomorrow. I recall when I was a kid and just began earning some cash. I was so eager to spend it all, partly to treat myself and partly because I thought that once I made a bit more, I'd start saving up. But that day never actually arrived. The issue isn't about how much you possess. It's about the habits you form. You can't say, "I'll hold off until I've got the self-control to hit the gym." You gain that self-control by actually starting to work out. Money operates in a similar fashion. You don't wait until you have a larger sum to begin learning about investing. You jump in first, even if it's just a tiny amount. I once suggested to a student that he start with $5 a week. It didn't matter how insignificant it seemed. What really counts is that you're training yourself. He chuckled and remarked that $5 wouldn't make a difference. 3 years later, I ran into him again. He still hadn't taken that step and repeated the same excuse. "I'm not prepared yet." I just smiled. It's not that you're unprepared, it's that you haven't developed the habit. Grasp this concept. Wealth is a skill, and skills are built through practice. The wealthy don't invest large sums right away. Initially, they invest consistently. They understand that every little action, every seed sown, is a building block in the structure of freedom. Just like a farmer, he doesn't only think about this year's yield. He plants, he waters, he waits, not because he enjoys the labor, but because he realizes that rewards come to those who are patient. And here's a tough pill to swallow. No one gets rich from a single major choice, but from countless small ones they keep making over and over. Successful folks aren't superior to you. They're just more reliable. One day, then 1 week, then 1 year longer. Begin cultivating your habit of planting seeds today. Each time you receive your paycheck, automatically set aside 10% before you spend anything. If 10% feels too steep, start with 5 or even 2. Don't view it as money gone. Think of it as seeds sent to your future, because you can't expect a harvest if you never plant. And you can't achieve freedom if every dollar you earn lacks a purpose. One thing I've picked up from my own journey is that discipline isn't about limitation. It's the pathway between dreams and success. The practice of sowing seeds is the ultimate form of self-control. You sow today to reap tomorrow. Each time you remain steady, you're showing yourself that you're worthy of freedom. So I want you to think about this. What type of seeds am I sowing daily for my future or for my procrastination? If you sow the seeds of discipline, you'll reap freedom. If you sow the seeds of spending, you'll reap anxiety. Life doesn't play favorites, it simply returns the kind of seeds you've sown. But just sowing seeds isn't sufficient. Wealthy individuals don't merely plant. They also understand how to safeguard their fields. They don't place all their seeds in one spot. They know how to distribute them wisely. And that's the key to the next principle. Principle number 3, diversify with discipline. I once came across a well-known saying in the investment world. Never put all your eggs in one basket. That sounds smart, but after years of watching, I stumbled upon something intriguing. Those who miss the mark on principle number 2, cultivate the habit of frequently planting seeds, often get it all wrong. They believe that diversification means throwing their cash into everything. They spread their funds all over the place. A bit in stocks, a bit in cryptocurrency, a bit in a buddy's startup. In the end, they don't really grasp any of it, and none of it yields any returns. On the flip side, wealthy individuals don't just diversify, they do it with intention. They don't just toss seeds around haphazardly. They thoughtfully select each piece of land and stick around long enough to nurture, water, and eventually harvest it. I recall when I first dipped my toes into investing, a friend advised me, Earl Nightingale, spread your money across as many options as possible. The more, the better. I took that advice to heart. The outcome? I didn't just lose cash, I lost my focus. I was too busy chasing after every opportunity and had no time to safeguard any of them. Then another mentor shared with me, Earl Nightingale, diversification isn't about splitting your knowledge. It's about safeguarding your knowledge with discipline. That's when I realized it's not about spreading yourself too thin. It's all about finding balance. Wealthy individuals split their money into 3 categories. First, there's the safe part, the solid base, which includes long-term investments like index funds, real estate, or bonds. This is where your money grows slowly but surely, like roots digging deep into the earth. Then there's the growth segment. This is where you look for profit opportunities in riskier areas like startups, new tech, or emerging markets. These are the branches that stretch towards the sky. Not every branch will yield fruit, but when a few do, you'll enjoy a bountiful harvest. Lastly, we have the self-investment part, which covers intangible assets like learning new skills, developing a positive mindset, and taking care of your health. This is the kind of investment that offers endless returns because no one can take away your knowledge or tax it. You see, diversification isn't merely a financial tactic, it's a way of life. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. Plant various types of trees, some for shade, some for fruit, and some for durable wood. Because when the storm hits, not every tree will hold up, but the entire forest will. I've witnessed numerous folks go bankrupt, not due to poor investments, but because they pinned all their hopes on just one source of income. Job gone, income gone, life in shambles. Wealthy individuals operate differently. If one opportunity shuts, they still have 5 others available. But watch out. Without self-control, spreading your investments can turn into chaos. If you put your money in 10 different places but can't keep track of even one, you're not really investing, you're gambling. The wealthy don't just split their money, they also split their focus. They're fully aware of what each dollar is doing, where it's located, and why it's there. Diversification is all about finding that balance, not so narrow that risk wipes you out, but not so broad that your effectiveness gets lost. Invest widely enough to be secure and deeply enough to make an impact. Take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, if one of my income streams vanished tomorrow, would I still have something bringing in money? If the response is negative, you're in a cozy kind of trouble. The sort that seems secure right now, but creates uncertainty in the long run. Once you figure out how to nurture and safeguard the seeds you've sown, the following move is to get your field to yield results for you, because wealthy individuals don't just grasp the art of investing. They understand how to make their money work tirelessly, even while they catch some Z's. Principle number 4, let your money do the heavy lifting. A lot of folks put in an immense amount of effort. They rise with the sun, burn the midnight oil, give up their free time, and pour in energy hour after hour. But there's a tough reality that not many are willing to confront. Regardless of how many hours you clock in, You still have just 24 hours in a day. You can't keep going indefinitely. Your body will wear out. Time will hold you back. And youth is fleeting. If you depend only on hard work, your life will always be tied to the ticking clock. When you stop hustling, your income halts. The wealthy get that. They realize that even when I'm dreaming, my assets are still at work. That's not sorcery, it's a mindset. The affluent don't just chase after money. They set up systems so that cash does the heavy lifting for them. I once ran into a guy who was putting in a ton of effort. He juggled 2 jobs and barely had any time off. He said to me, "Earl Nightingale, I'm clocking in 16 hours a day. I'm sure I'll be rolling in it soon." I looked at him and replied, "Nah, you're just getting really good at being worn out. The more you grind away without a solid plan, the more drained you feel." Wealthy folks still hustle, but they do it with leverage. They turn money into their most dedicated worker. Money doesn't need to sleep, take breaks, or find motivation. It can operate around the clock anywhere on the planet. Picture this. Every dollar you invest smartly acts like an unseen worker, a worker toiling day and night to generate returns. And when you've got hundreds or even thousands of these invisible workers, you're no longer just grinding to get by. You start working to add value, not because you're under financial stress. Back in the day, I thought financial independence was just a far-off fantasy. But once I grasped the concept of passive income, everything shifted. I began setting aside a portion of my earnings into assets that brought in cash flow, like stocks that paid dividends, rental properties, and small ventures that could run without my daily involvement. Initially, those cash flows were pretty small, but they kept coming in even when I was spending time with my family, reading, or catching some sleep. Then, little by little, I stumbled upon the wonder of compound interest. Every dollar I made generated more dollars. Each new income source supported another, like seeds growing endlessly in a vast field. That's when I transitioned from working for money to managing cash flow. If you want to get started, begin by creating your first stream of passive income. Don't wait until you have a lot, because wealthy people don't kick things off on a grand scale. They start with consistency. You can kick things off by setting up an automatic investment account, an index fund, or purchasing a small income-generating asset. It could be a $50 dividend or a room to rent out. The amount isn't what counts. It's the principle. My money needs to work for me, not just sit around doing nothing. Once that initial stream begins to flow, it's time to amplify it. Transform 1 into 2, 2 into 5, and 5 into 10. The more sources of income you have, the closer you get to true freedom. Ask yourself, if I couldn't work tomorrow, how many income streams would still be supporting me? If the answer is 0, then it's high time to start building your financial team. Let your money act as your quiet army, working tirelessly while you take a break, because while you can rest, freedom should never take a nap. But there's another insight. Wealthy individuals grasp this better than anyone else. They don't just generate money, they create value that generates income. They understand that wealth gravitates towards those who help more people and do it better. And that brings us to the next principle. Principle number 5, provide value, not just hours. I used to believe that the only way to increase my earnings was to put in more hours. I worked overtime, took on additional responsibilities, and burned the midnight oil while others were asleep. But no matter how hard I pushed, I always hit a wall because my time is finite. A mentor once shared something that completely transformed my perspective. Earl Nightingale said, "Hey, money doesn't just chase the person who puts in the most effort. It's attracted to the individual who brings the most value." That's when it clicked for me. Society doesn't pay you for your time. It compensates you for the value you provide during that time. If you're making $10 an hour, it's not because that hour is inherently worth $10. It's because the value you offer to others in that hour is only $10. If you're looking to boost your earnings, you don't have to grind for 20 hours a day. Instead, focus on enhancing your value. I used to be just an average salesperson. I believed my role was simply to sell to rake in commissions. But one day my mindset shifted. My role isn't about selling. It's about assisting people in purchasing what they genuinely need. And guess what? My income doubled and then tripled, not due to working harder, but because I improved my service. That's the mindset of the wealthy. Money doesn't follow sheer effort, it follows utility. The more individuals you assist and the more effectively you do it, the more valuable you become, and money will naturally come your way. Take a look at the most accomplished folks around the globe. They aren't compensated just for putting in more hours. They earn because they tackle larger challenges. Earl Nightingale isn't rewarded for working 18 hours daily. He gets paid because he provides solutions for millions. Earl Nightingale doesn't trade time. He develops systems that allow value to expand endlessly. In today's landscape filled with technology, artificial intelligence, and the creator economy, the real winners aren't those who simply put in more effort, but those who utilize their intellect and systems to extend their value to a wider audience. You can begin on a small scale. If you're working for someone else, consider asking, how can I help the company save money, boost efficiency, or enhance customer service? If you're running your own business, think about, how can I assist more people while keeping costs down? If you're a creator, reflect on what issues you're addressing for your audience through your content. Every single dollar you earn comes from someone who thinks the worth you provide is greater than what they're paying. I once had a conversation with a rich guy. I asked him, "What's your secret to making it big?" He grinned and replied, "I stopped wondering how I could earn more cash and began to ask how I could assist more folks." That response is crucial. When you change your mindset from chasing money to serving it, it starts coming your way. It's no longer a pursuit, but rather a magnetism. No more stress, just the natural outcome of the value you bring. This world isn't short on cash. It's short on people who generate genuine value. And once you become one of those individuals, money will come to you quicker than you expect. Reflect on this. What value am I bringing to the table today? Am I enriching others or just myself? If you shift your thinking from hours to value, you'll break free from the constraints of time. You'll enter a new realm where earnings are gauged not by hours worked, but by the impact made. And once you've figured out how to create value, the next step is to safeguard that value. A lot of folks manage to make some cash, but before they know it, they've lost it all. It's not that they made bad investments, it's just that they didn't keep an eye on their finances. That brings us to the next key point. Principle number 6, keep track of your cash flow. Be aware of where your money is going. I once mentioned to a student, if you don't direct your money, it'll just vanish on its own. That's one of the priciest lessons I've ever picked up. It's not that people struggle because they don't earn enough. The majority struggle because they have no clue how much they're actually spending. You see, most individuals don't go broke due to principle number 4, making money work for you with one major choice. They get overwhelmed by countless little decisions. A daily coffee, a few dinners out each week. Those seem like just a couple of bucks here and there, plus subscriptions they hardly ever use. All those tiny expenses, little by little, sneakily chip away at their cash flow without any warning. I once had a chat with a young guy who was doing pretty well financially. He said, "Earl Nightingale, I can't figure out why I'm always short on cash by the end of the month." I just smiled. "All right, let's dive in." We pulled up his spending report, and for an hour he just sat there in silence. It wasn't that he didn't get it, he was just taken aback. He came to the realization that he wasn't struggling financially due to a lack of earnings, but rather from a lack of understanding. A lot of folks think their issue is that they don't earn enough. The real problem is that they can't hold on to what they do earn. You see, boosting your income without boosting your self-control just leads to spending it all even quicker. Wealthy people have a straightforward habit that many overlook. They keep track of every single dollar, not out of being cheap, but because they value money. They know that if you don't measure it, you can't manage it. Every few months, they sit down, go over the spending report, and assess each item. What's making money? What's just a waste? What needs to go? And every time they do this, their cash flow gets stronger, clearer, and more liberated. I tried this exercise for the first time when I was younger. When I added everything up, I found out I'd spent hundreds of dollars on stuff that didn't add any value. I used to call them financial leaks. I began to seal each gap one by one. Every little amount I saved, regardless of how insignificant it seemed, I funneled into investments, and after just 1 year, my cash flow flipped from draining away to flowing towards me. Keep in mind, you can't create wealth with money that's slipping through your fingers. Before you even think about investing for growth, make sure you're managing your current cash flow. A task I frequently give my students is a 30-day spending audit. Jot down every single thing you spend on, no matter how minor. By the end of the month, you'll get a clearer picture, and it might just shock you. Someone once said to me, "Earl Nightingale, I feel uneasy writing down every expense." I told them, if you're uneasy about seeing where your money goes, that's a clear sign you're not managing it well. Financial independence doesn't kick off with the figure in your bank account. It begins with recognizing your control over it. When you have a clear picture of where every single dollar goes, you gain the ability to determine its next move, whether it works for you or leaves you hanging. Picture this. What if each month you trimmed down 10% of unnecessary expenses and funneled that into income-generating assets? In just 1 year, that could lay the groundwork, and in a decade, it might lead to true freedom. Because the control you establish today is the cornerstone of the wealth you'll build tomorrow. I want you to reflect on this. Am I the one in charge of my money, or is my money calling the shots? If you're still pondering that, start tonight. Take a moment to sit down, jot down your thoughts, review them, and make some adjustments. You don't need everything to be flawless. Just make a firm decision from this point forward. I will direct my money where I want it to go. Once you've mastered the art of managing every dollar you earn, it's time to elevate your mindset. The wealthy don't just focus on the present, they consider the future generations. They don't merely earn money, they create a legacy. And that brings us to the next principle. Principle number 7, think about your legacy. Create enduring wealth. I once mentioned, the clever make money to survive, while the wise make money to achieve freedom. However, the truly successful individuals earn money to create a legacy. Many folks only consider wealth in the context of their own lives. Yet, the genuinely affluent think beyond their own existence. They don't merely ponder how comfortable their own lives will be. They contemplate how their children, grandchildren, and future generations will thrive because of the groundwork they lay today. I recall when I was younger, I encountered an older gentleman named Earl Nightingale. He was retired but appeared completely at ease regarding finances. When I inquired about his secret, he grinned and replied, "I didn't work solely for my own benefit, my friend. I labored so that those I care about wouldn't have to begin from scratch." Those words really made me pause. I came to understand that real wealth isn't measured by how much you consume during your lifetime, but by the principles and chances you provide for others. The wealthy grasp that everything they create is a planting for the future generation. A house today can serve as a refuge for their heirs tomorrow. A business established now can lay the groundwork for an entire lineage. A little charity fund today can change the lives of folks you might never cross paths with. And even more crucial, the best legacy isn't about cash, it's about mindset. You see, money can vanish, but the right way of thinking can help you rebuild everything. I've come across dads who left their kids a ton of wealth, but since they never shared the mindset behind it, the next generation blew it all in just a few years. On the flip side, I've witnessed parents who had nothing to give but wisdom, and those very lessons turned their kids into millionaires. I like to call that a spiritual legacy fund, a treasure trove of principles, values, and beliefs that are worth way more than gold. That's what you should hand down, along with your financial resources. When you start looking beyond your own years, you begin to invest with principle number 5. Serve value, not just hours, for a bigger purpose. You'll opt for sustainability instead of quick profits. You'll focus on long-lasting impact rather than fleeting enjoyment. I once had a chat with a rich buddy of mine, and I asked him, "What do you plan to do with your fortune when you're no longer around?" He grinned and replied, "I'm not just leaving behind cash. I'm leaving behind chances, schools, scholarships, and a business that my family can keep growing." That's what sets apart spending money from creating a legacy. Just think about it. If every generation started off at a better place than the one before, in just a few generations, an entire family could completely shift its future. But that only happens when someone in the family chooses to think bigger than themselves. That someone could be you. Don't just hand down what you've made to your kids. Share with them the reasons behind why you made it. Change your family's narrative by planting seeds that last. Maybe it's an investment fund, a thriving business, or a community foundation. Because in the end, all the stuff you buy will eventually disappear, but what you create will last. Ask yourself, if I were to leave today, what part of me would still be here tomorrow? That question isn't just for the older folks. It's for all of us. Legacy isn't just something you build at the end of your journey. It's something you nurture every single day. Once you grasp the significance of creating a legacy, another truth hits you. Wealthy individuals don't just plan for the future. They recognize that short-term cash flow is essential for freedom. If your assets aren't bringing in reliable income, you're not genuinely free. And that leads us to the next point. Point number 8, make cash flow your priority. Freedom starts with having that flow. One big mistake I often see from folks who appear wealthy is their focus on assets on paper while neglecting real-life cash flow. They might have homes, cars, and investments, yet they still grind away every month just to cover their bills. They may look affluent, but they don't truly live like it. Those who are genuinely wealthy get that while assets can give an illusion of wealth, it's the cash flow that provides true freedom. I once crossed paths with a guy who had millions in assets listed on paper. He owned several properties, shares in companies, and even some fancy cars. Every month he found it tough to cover his utility bills and pay his staff. I asked him, "Why do you still feel the financial strain with all those assets?" He flashed a wry smile and said, "Earl Nightingale, I have plenty of stuff, but none of it brings in any money." On the flip side, I knew another guy who had way less wealth on paper, yet he owned 3 rental units, a stock portfolio that paid dividends, and a small business that was running smoothly. Each month he enjoyed a steady cash flow without needing to clock in at a job. He told me, "I'm not a millionaire, Earl Nightingale, but I'm free." That's when it hit me. Freedom isn't about the amount you have, it's about the cash flow. Cash flow is what fuels financial independence. When it dries up, you're back to the grind. But when it's consistent, you can concentrate on what really matters: family, health, growth, or just living life on your own terms. Keep in mind, the aim isn't to accumulate more assets, but to have assets that actually pay you. Don't put your money into something that looks good on paper, but doesn't give you any real returns. A home is only a genuine asset if it brings in positive cash flow. A business truly holds value only if it can make a profit without you having to be there every single day. A stock is worth keeping only if it provides dividends or shows real growth. Think about it. How many things do I own that actually put money in my pocket each month? If the answer is 0, then you haven't achieved freedom yet. You've merely purchased the illusion of it. Wealthy individuals start with a different mindset. Instead of asking, "What can I buy?" they ask, "Will this pay me back?" I refer to that as the cash flow first, image later principle. Don't go after luxury right away. Establish your foundation first, and then you can build your castle. When I acquired my first property, it wasn't anything fancy. It was an old apartment located far from the city center, overlooked by everyone. But every month, it brought in rent. That experience felt completely different from just spending money. It was the first time I truly felt my money working for me. From that little trickle, I reinvested, picked up more assets that generate income, and with each one, my level of freedom climbed a bit higher. It wasn't just about making more cash, but about having control over the flow. If you're after freedom, kick things off by establishing at least one source of passive income this year. It might be a rental space, a portfolio of dividends, a digital product sold online, or a YouTube channel that provides lasting value to others. Don't ever underestimate a small cash flow, because every massive river starts with a single drop. And once you have your first stream, safeguard it, grow it, and turn it into a system. One day, you'll wake up and notice that money is still coming in even when you're not working. That's when you're genuinely free. But there's one more insight that not many people grasp. You can create numerous income streams, but if you don't know how to hold on to what you earn, you'll end up losing it all. And that's something the wealthy understand better than anyone else. The trick isn't just in making money, but in keeping it. Let's dive into the next idea. Idea number 9, hold on to what you earn. The skill of tax management is principle number 6. Take charge of your cash flow. I once asked a wealthy buddy, "What's the biggest secret to getting rich?" He grinned and replied, "Earl, it's not about how much you bring in, it's about how much you keep after you earn it." At that moment, I didn't quite get what he was saying until I noticed 2 guys making the same amount of money. One kept getting richer year after year, while the other was still struggling, and the only thing that set them apart was how they handled their taxes. The first guy viewed taxes as a burden. The second guy treated taxes like a game with rules, and whoever knows the rules comes out on top. You see, a lot of folks work hard their whole lives, but never figure out how to hold on to what they make. They let the government, inflation, and their own lack of knowledge chip away at their money little by little. Meanwhile, the wealthy learn the rules so that those rules work in their favor. I'm not talking about dodging taxes, not at all. I'm talking about grasping tax laws to take advantage of what's perfectly legal. Because tax regulations are designed to promote behavior that adds value. If you know how to navigate the system properly, not only will you retain more of your earnings, but you'll also accumulate wealth more swiftly. When I first ventured into the business world, I stumbled a lot as well. Each time I turned a profit, I found myself paying taxes like any other employee. I thought that was the norm until I encountered a financial advisor who posed an intriguing question. "Earl Nightingale, do you want to be the person who pays the most in taxes, or the one who knows how to keep what they earn wisely?" That question lingered in my mind for quite some time. Then he guided me on how to establish a solid financial framework. Use your business to validate necessary expenditures, invest in real estate, while taking advantage of tax breaks. Put money into retirement accounts or tax-friendly investment options. I've come to realize that wealthy individuals don't complain about taxes. They manage them effectively. They grasp that every dollar saved from taxes translates into another dollar that can be invested in freedom. And that's a perspective that many folks overlook. They see taxes as something beyond their influence. They just don't get it, never improve, and because of that, they end up working even harder to recover what they've lost. On the flip side, the wealthy do things differently. They make their money work in a smarter way, turning the rules into a friend rather than a foe. A buddy of mine who's an entrepreneur once mentioned, "I always think twice before spending any cash, considering how I can minimize my taxes." That's the shift in perspective. Regular folks ask themselves, "What can I buy?" While the wealthy ponder, "How can I set this up so my money keeps growing?" Start with some easy steps. If you're working for someone else, consider opening a retirement or investment account that offers tax benefits. If you run your own business, team up with a financial expert to make sure your investment-related expenses are above board. If you're thinking about diving into real estate, find out how to leverage asset depreciation to lower your tax bill. Each little action can help you retain an extra 5%, 10%, or even 20% of your earnings. And guess what? When you hold on to more, you can reinvest more. That's how the wealthy speed up their journey to financial freedom. Take a moment to reflect. Am I hustling for cash? Or am I letting the rules work in my favor? If you don't grasp the rules, you'll always be playing catch-up. But once you figure out how to play the game right, you won't just make more money, you'll also keep more of it. And keep in mind, building wealth isn't about grinding harder, it's about being smarter with your resources. Let knowledge be your tool for creating wealth, because ignorance is the priciest tax of all. Once you've mastered the art of holding on to what you earn, it's time to dive into a more profound concept. The wealthy don't rely on debt, they thrive on ownership. They realize that every dollar of debt is a chain, while every asset is a step towards liberation. Now let's move on to principle number 10. Principle number 10, prioritize ownership over debt. I once shared with a group of young folks that if you don't own anything, you'll always be working for someone else. The world today is brimming with chances, but it's also packed with pitfalls, and one of the most enticing pitfalls is debt. It gives you that sensation of having it all right now, only to have it snatched away with interest later on. I used to find myself in debt, not because I was struggling financially, but because I didn't grasp the principles of money. I believed I was making progress, but in truth, I was just paying for my lack of patience. A mentor once shared with me, Earl Nightingale, "If you purchase things you don't need with cash, you don't possess just to show off to folks you don't even know, you're jeopardizing your future." Those words hit me hard. I came to understand that many individuals spend their whole lives working to pay off items they only enjoyed for a short while. A shiny new car, the latest smartphone, a fancy apartment. They offer a fleeting sense of wealth, but leave behind a heavy load. Wealthy people really get this distinction. They know the difference between good debt and bad debt. Bad debt is what drains your wallet every month. Think consumption, credit, and emotional spending. Good debt, on the other hand, is what fills your pockets, like investments, income-generating assets, and cash-flowing businesses. They're not hesitant to take out loans, but they only do it to acquire assets, not liabilities. If a debt doesn't help them generate value, they steer clear of it like it's on fire. I once encountered a guy who was really proud of his flawless credit score. He told me, "Earl, the bank is ready to lend to me anytime." I chuckled and replied, "That means the bank has faith in you. But the real question is, are you using that faith to gain freedom or to buy chains?" Debt isn't inherently bad, but using it without a clear understanding can be incredibly risky because it can make you feel comfortable while you're actually limiting your choices. When you're in debt, you can't relax, you can't say no, and sometimes you can't even live by your own values. You end up working for your own obligations. The wealthy think differently. They don't borrow to spend. They borrow to boost their ownership. They realize that owning things brings freedom, while debt leads to dependence. Every investment they make has one purpose: to grow what they possess. I recall the very first time I purchased a tiny piece of property. It wasn't some fancy mansion, just a simple plot in the suburbs. But when I had the title in my hands, I experienced a sense of calm that no loan could ever provide. I had a stake in this world, and nobody could take that away from me unless I let them. Owning something isn't just about having property, right? It's a statement of independence. When you possess a business, skills, knowledge, or income-generating assets, you can live life on your terms and not be controlled by money worries. Think about it. Am I striving to own something or just working to pay off bills? If the majority of your earnings go to expenses, you're not really making progress. You're stuck on the debt treadmill. But when you start using your money to regain your freedom, you're headed in the right direction. Begin with baby steps. Pay off those credit cards, cut down on unnecessary spending, and save up to invest in real assets, things that bring in income instead of losing value. And with every little bit you own, you gain a bit more control over your life. Freedom doesn't kick in just because you've got a pile of cash. It actually starts when you don't owe anyone a dime. But even if you've cleared your debts, that alone won't make you truly wealthy. The wealthy don't just possess things. They know how to multiply what they have. They understand how to turn value into even more value. And that brings us to the next key idea. Principle 11, multiply your assets. Let's talk about the magic of compound interest. Albert Einstein famously said, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Those who get it benefit from it, while those who don't end up paying for it." And he was spot on. If you're curious about why the rich keep getting richer, just observe how they let their money grow without lifting a finger. I once had a young, super eager student who told me, "Earl Nightingale, I want to get rich quickly. I'm ready to grind for 16 hours a day." I chuckled. Hard work is great, but if you're only counting on your own sweat, you'll only make slow progress. If you grasp the concept of compound interest, your money will run the marathon for you. Compound interest isn't some kind of sorcery. It's the payoff for being patient. You see, compound interest only shows its true strength when you stick around long enough. Picture this. You plant a tree. In the first year, it's just a tiny sprout, looking pretty much the same. But each year, it grows a bit more, and by the 10th year, it starts to produce fruit. Those fruits, in turn, have more seeds to plant. That's how compound interest works in nature. It's not flashy, but it's relentless. Wealthy folks don't rush to get rich quick. They create systems that increase value over time. Every source of income they establish gets reinvested. Every profit they make gets put back to work. And over the years, those seeds turn into a financial forest. I once came across an everyday woman with a typical income, but she began putting away $200 a month at the age of 25 into a straightforward index fund that earned 10% annually. By the time she hit 55, her assets had surpassed $400,000, not because she made a ton of money, but because she remained consistent longer than most. On the flip side, I've met plenty of folks who rake in hundreds of thousands each year, but blow it all or invest based on their feelings, ending up with nothing saved. You see, compound interest benefits those who take action, not just those who sit around dreaming. It's not solely about cash. It's the foundation of all achievement. Whether it's knowledge, skills, connections, or health, they all adhere to the same concept. A bit of progress each day can multiply 100 times over the years. You might read a book today, and it might not seem life-changing. But if you make it a habit to read every day for a decade, your mindset will shift entirely. That's the compound interest of wisdom. So the trick isn't to rush, but to begin early and keep going. Wealthy individuals don't aim to get rich quickly. They focus on building wealth sustainably. I want you to reflect on this. What am I investing in daily? Money, knowledge, or discipline? Am I sowing seeds so that compound interest can kick in? If your answer is not yet, then start today, even if it's just a little bit. Since compound interest doesn't really care about how much you kick things off with, what matters is when you decide to start. Don't evaluate your outcomes by tomorrow. Look at them over the next 10 years, because freedom doesn't just show up overnight. It's built from countless nights of dedication. And once you figure out how to multiply your assets, principle number 8, focus on cash flow. Freedom starts with flow. You'll uncover an even more profound truth. Wealthy individuals don't only invest their money, they invest in connections. In the financial world, you can't get very far on your own. Now, let's talk about Principle 12. Principle 12, build relationships, the unseen asset of the wealthy. I once mentioned in a talk, if you've got a brilliant idea, but nobody believes in you, that idea will slip away. However, if you have solid relationships, you can transform an average idea into something huge. And that's the insight the wealthy grasp better than anyone else. Money can buy a lot, but only relationships can truly open doors. I once crossed paths with a young entrepreneur named Earl Nightingale. He was skilled, diligent, and clever. Yet, after several years, his career was still at a standstill. He said to me, "Earl Nightingale, I've acquired every skill in investing, management, and finance, but why am I unable to make a breakthrough?" I replied, "Earl Nightingale, how many folks are ready to speak positively about you when you're not around?" He went quiet because that's the kind of question that schools never cover. Yet it plays a crucial role in real-life success. The wealthy understand that achievement doesn't come from isolation, but from the connections they foster. Every individual they encounter can serve as a bridge, a chance, a nugget of wisdom, or a pathway to the next opportunity. They're not out there seeking personal gain. Instead, they cultivate value. They contribute and assist before expecting anything in return, knowing this timeless principle. The person who brings the most support to others is the one who holds the highest worth in any gathering. I once witnessed a guy fail at starting businesses 3 times consecutively. However, on his 4th attempt, he returned more resilient, not because he had a superior idea, but due to having a stronger team. He mentioned Earl Nightingale. I came to understand that the concept is merely 20%, while 80% revolves around the people involved. That's the reason why wealthy individuals invest significantly in those around them. They are selective with their friendships. They look for mentors to gain insights from, and they always find ways to add value to their connections. If you aim to achieve wealth, don't merely ponder what you know. Instead, think about who you know and what value you bring to the table. Because relationships aren't just for support, they're meant for mutual growth. In this day and age, your worth isn't solely based on your abilities, but also on your reputation, something that money can't purchase. Only time, actions, and genuine intent can cultivate that. The affluent don't chase after opportunities, they draw them in. They accomplish this by becoming the type of person that others wish to collaborate with. They don't just discuss finances, they share visions. They don't merely demand, they give back. They don't just exchange handshakes, they honor their commitments. I want you to reflect on this. Every connection you have is a valuable resource that can bring endless benefits if you know how to take care of it. A buddy might open up a new door for you. A guide can steer you clear of a big blunder. A timely introduction can completely transform your career. Wealthy individuals understand that their network is their real wealth. Cash can vanish. Properties can fail. But if you cultivate solid relationships, you can bounce back quicker than ever. Think about it. Who are the 5 folks I hang out with the most? Are they pushing me forward or holding me back? Because you're likely to become the average of those 5 closest to you. If you're looking to uplift your life, start by uplifting those around you. Don't just accumulate assets, build trust, credibility, and friendships. In the end, cash is merely a tool, while people are the real treasures. My friend, we've explored 12 financial principles of the wealthy, and if you pay attention, you'll notice that none of these principles focus solely on money. They all emphasize mindset. The wealthy don't just hustle to get by. They work to gain freedom. They don't spend to show off. They invest to add value. They don't just chase figures, they stick to principles. And you know what? Real wealth doesn't kick off with a number in your bank account. It begins with a choice in your mind. The choice that from this day forward, you will take charge of your money instead of letting it control you. Every principle you pick up today, whether it's investing instead of merely earning, focusing on cash flow, or putting your money into people, is like laying a brick in the structure of your financial independence. And every time you take a step, no matter how tiny, you're adding another sturdy brick to your future. I once mentioned that discipline is the link between dreams and achievement. Now you've got the blueprint, but that link is one you have to cross on your own. Nobody can invest for you, nobody can save for you, and nobody can create a legacy for you. Start now. One small step, one habit, one smart choice, because wealth isn't about luck. It stems from taking consistent action every single day. If you're looking to keep advancing on your personal growth path with Earl Nightingale, make sure to subscribe to The Core Secret, because the upcoming video will not only dive deeper into your principle number 9, hold on to what you earn, the skill of optimizing your finances, but it will also enhance your mindset and spirit. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of the 12 principles resonated with you the most? Today, I'm eager to hear your story, and to wrap things up, I want to share a message that I always keep in mind. You and I both possess a gift. It's today. Make the most of it. I'll catch you in the next one.